Okay, hello, welcome. Hello, Polly. Oh, I'll put this here so I can see other people who are joining. Let's see. Hello, Polly. I know this is coming up in a couple of groups, so thank you for being here. I love you all. You're awesome. We're almost ready to go. There's something I want to share with you today, and it's kind of a big thing that I hear a lot. I do spiritual guidance sessions, and um, I do spiritual guidance sessions. And I also do Black mentorship sessions for those who are working through this, trying to create anti-racist culture in their lives. And I had a couple last full days, and something that comes up quite a bit. Hello, welcome. Something that comes up quite a bit is the people who are wanting to have the really tough conversations with their family members, with their friends, with their communities. There's a lot of people who are sort of losing family. They're losing their families uh, because of how we've sort of all been set up in
The
oops, sorry, I didn't mean to replay this out loud. People are losing their family members because of what they're experiencing in this change in the world. And so this is the first thing I want to talk about. And yes, if you're just joining me, hello, JC, hello. Going out, she says, nah. Yeah. Hopefully nobody's going out right now. But to each his own. People are gonna do, or her own, people are gonna do what they want to do. Hello, Jessica. Thank you for joining us. So, Imani, hello, peace and freedom. Been home all day and night. Walked across the driveway to get mail 3 p.m. So she went out. That's what going out is now. Okay. All right. So, for those of us who are engaging in tough conversations, there are people who are, there's a lot of grief that's being experienced right now because we are noticing that lines are being drawn in the sand. I certainly have drawn some lines in the sand. And we are experiencing people in our lives who we don't agree with and are and we're losing communities, and we're losing connections to communities and families. I prefer to think of it as taking a break. It doesn't mean that you don't ever talk to those people again. It doesn't mean that they're out of your life forever, but there is some grief involved in building this new world. Having said that, a lot of people want to be in conversations with either communities or people that are are uh, are very are clinging to an old way of thinking, are clinging to things like all lives matter and black on black crime, and why are we destroying our history, and they're clinging to some ideas that for us we might be like, that's racist and that's ignorant and whatever, right? And that might be true, and that you might have a lot of people agree with you. I certainly feel, I definitely feel I get repelled when I see those types of ideas. Hello, Todd. Hello, Tara. Welcome. I'm about to talk about peaceful warrior and how all of us are being called to being peaceful warriors and what that means to me, because this is a button word that you hear everywhere. And I just want to talk about what it means to me. And then I'll answer questions. I'll pull cards for people who show up. And you can put those questions in even now if you want. I'll get to them in just a minute. So we're being faced with this phenomenon of division, right? And yes, thank you for the hearts and the comments. Thank you for reciprocating by boosting this video. And so I'm asking all of you to first recognize who you are. You are born here to be here right now. Your ancestors and spirits made you specifically in this way to be here specifically at this time, to do this work in this time of great conflict, in this charged chasm of division and unity, and us all trying to find balance with each other at the same time the world is on fire and flooding and shaking. All of our institutions that we relied on are falling apart. It's probably a good thing. The world is literally burning down, and we are seeing the truth of everything. No one can hide from the truth. Not an institution, not a person, not with money, not with wool over your eyes. No one can hide. So a lot of us have this power waking up within us. A lot of us are finding out who we really are. There's this thing in us that's like, this is who I really am. And it's coming to the surface. A lot of us are finding like, wow, I want to be more purpose. I don't know how to engage with this, but I know that it's important for me to do it. I need support in that. And I'll tell you, I mean, this is where my work comes from. It's with your ancestors and your spirit. This is what I teach. This is the way of all of our ancestors. It is the way of all of our ancestors, is to work with our ancestors and to work with spirit. And I'm going to say it here now, and I'm going to keep saying it. And that is, if you don't start this work now, you will start it in the next year. Either you start this work now willingly, which is building a relationship with your ancestor, fully integrating with your spirit, or you will be forced to within the next year. So, and that can be as graceful or ungraceful as you want it to be, as you allow it to be. So back to these conversations, because this is what came up in so many, this is what's come up this whole month. And what I'm seeing also with friends as well, and that is having these conversations with the friends and family that are just digging in on what we're calling racism, and digging in on views that are completely opposing to ours, and setting us back and making it hard for us to create unity and progress and change. Okay. What happens is when we get into these conversations and we have like, it might be our best friend, or it might be like our even our own dad. And hey, Molly, hey, how's it going? Welcome. Or Mary, welcome. What ends up happening is, they'll say the thing, whatever the thing, maybe it's all lives matter. This is one that a lot of us are coming up against and is common. Say it's like you're saying all Black lives matter. I want to be part of this. And they're saying, no, all lives matter. And, they're digging in. For a lot of us, that brings up this feeling of just like, really? Like, why? What? I don't understand. Or it brings up like this wanting to like judge or whatever it is, embarrassment, whatever it is. Right? Yeah, I'm getting hearts. So I'm on the right track. Let me know. Let me know, because I don't know unless you comment or give me thumbs up. Please light it up so I know that you're with me. Especially in the comments. And so a lot of people right now are experiencing this discourse and also grief. And also, I don't know what I'm going to do. Hey, Brian, how's it going? And also like exiting their families, not showing up for family stuff. And yet there's still this part of us that's like, but I need to be, I am the one who's going to open this door for them. I am. Maybe it is my job to stick with it, and I don't know how. And that's where we have to be peaceful warriors. The war is happening right now. The war is a psychological war. It's a spiritual war. That's the war we're in. We don't have to fight it the way that we've seen wars being fought in the past. We don't have to fight it like this. We don't have to fight it like this. We can fight it peacefully. And if you're born in this time, and if you are finding yourself being very aware of the urge inside you to do something, especially those hard conversations, it's not just about having a hard conversation. We're talking about your blood. For a lot of us, you're talking about your blood or the people you've had loyal friendships with for a long time. Yes, grief, Tara is saying. Yeah. And yes, thank you for talking about this. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the comments. I promise I will get to the card pulls in just a minute. I will get to the card pulls. So this is my suggestion to you as far as entering into this energy that's within you, because so many of us were born warriors on this planet in this time. And that is, when you approach someone who is digging into something that makes you embarrassed or makes you instantly judge or makes you feel shame or whatever it is first to imagine them as a child. Imagine them as a small child. Now, I'm not going to get into the very specific demographics of who you're talking to, whatever, but imagine them as a small child who has been picked up. They've been taken care of. They know who they are. They're expansive. They're living their life. They're in love. Like not in love, but they're living in like their love. They are in love. They are sure of who they are. Even small children are sure of who they are. There's no doubts about who they are. They're just who they are. Imagine when you're talking to these people as small children who just get picked up and they're full of love and they're happy and they're excited about everything and they don't even question their identity as a human being. And then you plop them down in the middle of a war zone. Buildings falling down, bombs going over their head. No sign of food or someone to help them. Loud noises everywhere. People constantly approaching them, soliciting them. That's how you have to imagine. That's how you have to imagine these people in your family. They don't understand the new world that's coming. They don't have to question themselves. They don't have to be in that type of self-awareness that maybe you've already been practicing or you've recently woken up to. For them, they are feeling the war just like us, but they don't have the same tools. They might not be challenging the shitty education system that we've all gone through here in this country that has educated them into a white supremacy. All of us have. All of us got screwed by it. All of us has been educated into it. So first, when you approach them like that and understand that this is part of you being a peaceful warrior. You have to see that you can't see them as learned and responsible. In your approach, you can't look at them as learned and responsible, knowledgeable adults. You must speak to them that way, but you have to imagine them as small children who are unsupported in a war zone. That's how you have to imagine them. When you talk to them and they're saying all lives matter and they're saying, whatever it is, your job is only to reveal truth. And this is where you're going to feel the war, right? You're going to feel yourself being like, I don't want to hear any of this. This is so dumb. But you're going to hear all sorts of excuses. Yeah, you're going to hear things that are like eugenics. You're going to hear things like, you're going to hear, especially for those of us who are dealing with family who's older than 60, right? You're going to hear all sorts of things that might fully disgust you, that might make you want to hang up the phone, that might make you just want to be like, are you fucking kidding me? Right? And the thing is that if you really want to make a change, you want to be in these conversations, you have to be able to approach these conversations. I'm talking about your family members, right? I'm talking about these people that you care about, that that you have this urge and that you want to be the person who opens the door for them, right? This really, you can apply this anywhere, but I'm talking specifically about your job as a peaceful warrior, as someone who speaks for the evolution of your family. You dig? So when you approach this conversation, no matter what you're hearing out of their mouth, Polly, I got you. I saw your comment. What you're hearing out of their mouth, your job is to reveal truth, is to not speak or approach them with judgment, without agenda even. except for to reveal truth, without an agenda that says like, oh, you're going to think this by the end of the conversation. It's only to reveal truth. Without being suggestive, just ask questions. Why do you think, when you say all lives matter, why do you think that's more important than Black Lives Matter right now? Why do you think they're saying Black Lives Matter? Oh, because they're uneducated and they've been confused by the system. How do you think they got confused by the system? Like, what are you looking at that says they're confused? Keep going down, keep going down, keep going down, because you're going to find a seed. You're going to find a seed of truth. And in that moment, in that conversation, they might not change, right? They might not change in that moment. But unless they're without empathy, they're going to remember that in this war that they're in, there was somebody who they know opposes them, because if you probably have had the conversations previous to this where they realize that you're in opposition. But if you're in opposition with this person and they sort of associate you with the enemy, and you come to them with peace as a peaceful warrior, and you keep opening the door and allowing them to lead and finding the seed without judgment, without shame, without guilt, without whatever. And you open that door, they will not forget. They will then have an experience of feeling like they are this scared child. They're holding on, they're clinging on to something, like all lives matter. Tell me, Lauren, right? They're holding on to this stuff. And they just had an experience of peace with the opposition. You can give that to them. And you can have that conversation with them over 10 times over. One, it's going to help heal you. One, it's going to show you how to be a peaceful warrior. One, it's going to show you how to then have these conversations with other people in your communities and other family members. It's also going to speak to their heart. They will be more open to seeing something different than what they saw before. They will see that this psychological and the spiritual war that we are all in is maybe not as scary as they think. They might be more open to someone else having the conversation with them, right? And if anybody else, especially for those of you who are feeling like you are the one in your family that needs to turn things around, there are other people in your family who feel the same way. Even if they're not fully there in the way you are yet, other people watching this happen, other people receiving this energy, you will be leading them. And what I'm talking about conceptually sounds like, okay, A, B, and C, you got it. But this is part of the war. This is part of your fight in the war, and you can do it peacefully. Tara says, this hits so hard. Blessings to you, sweetie. I know. Mary, I need to stay committed. Yes. Part of creating the new world, which is what we're doing, is that we all need to make a lifetime commitment to anti-racist culture, creating an anti-racist culture. That is the simplest way to put it. Part of creating this new world is that we all need to make a commitment to creating an anti-racist culture. Jaya says, hey, sister. Hey, sister. Polly says, my mom and stepdad have thankfully been anti-racist forever. Awesome. JC, must remember to reveal truth, reverse judgment. Some people do not want to be questioned. They don't want to have the conversation. That's correct. Here's a tool for that. Here's a tool for those who do not even want to be in the conversation. This is sort of like the next step of your warrior training. If you still feel that urge where you want to be involved with the conversation with that person, your family, your community, friend, whatever, and they don't want to have the conversation. No, I know what I believe. All lives matter. Candace Owens. Yes. Right. They don't want it. They're dug in. Okay. So with those people, when people are dug in that way, in the way that I think I'm conferring. And I think those of you who are feeling me in this video know what this is. It's like that unbudging. It's that, like, no matter what you say, it could, even in the conversation, you could be like, do you want a glass of water? And they're like, why are you calling me a racist? Right. Or they, you know, as soon as you want to open a conversation, there's just like this energy that's just like, oh, hold on just one second. Oh. My cat is doing cat things he's not supposed to. Okay. But you know that feeling where it's just like you're hitting the wall, but you still have the urge that you want to be part of this evolution, right? Here's something that you can do. People who are in that place are clinging to fear. People who are in that place, especially right now, there's a lot of people who feel like all of our identities are being challenged right now. They are losing their identity and they're losing power, and they don't even know how to put their finger on that. That's what's happening. That is what's happening. Hello, Jessica, welcome. So when you're in that situation, and thank you everybody for the comments. Thank you for this reciprocation by boosting this video. Thank you. When you're in that situation, the best thing that you can do is pump up their ego. Pump up their ego, or give them a lot of love. Soften them up. See them as powerful. Tell them how you see them, that they're powerful. Here's how it goes. As much as it can kill us to say these things, this is part of being a peaceful warrior and revealing truth. So they're dug in and they're not budging. They want to fight. They don't even have the conversation. Then it's not about questioning. Then it's about saying, my dearest aunt, I know that we disagree on these things, but I've always respected you in that you are a deep thinker. I've always respected the way you pulled yourself up from nothing and you built an amazing family. And I see all of your creative expression, the way you crochet, your creative expression, the way you light people up when you talk to them. I still have a lot to learn from you. And I don't understand where you're coming from, but I know that there's something here I'm not understanding. So please tell me everything. Tell me everything about why all lives matter. Tell me everything about why you love Candace Owens so much. I want to learn from you. This isn't a lie, friends. You're not saying it just to say it. Really find the love you have for the person. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the conversation in the first place. You would have just cut it off. Find the love you have for the person. In some cases, pump up their ego so that they feel good about themselves. There's no lie in saying I have a lot to learn from you. You're not saying specifically what you're going to learn. The content of what they have to say about who they're following and why they're following it might not be important to you. But how they got there is of the utmost importance. It's going to help you understand the poison. It's going to help you find the remedy, not just for them, but for anything that's reflected within you and anybody else who's watching and anybody else who you have this conversation with in the future. You dig? Okay, I'm going to start pulling cards in just a moment. I see that the questions are coming in. Now's the time to put the questions in there. The last thing I want to say in my talk here, which went on a lot longer than I thought. The last thing I want to say in this talk is that, again, if you're born in this time, you were made specifically and on purpose to be in this time, to be in this conflicted time, to be in this war, this psychological and spiritual war we are in. And to get to your next level, to manifest in this new world, to create an anti-racist world, you must come back to the natural ways of life. And that is to work with the divine. And that is to integrate fully with your spirit. And that is to work with your ancestors. You will do it now, or you will be doing it within the year. It can be as graceful or not graceful as you want. It is necessary. This is my message to you. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you, when you finish with this video, or when you see me come up, if you don't have time today, you see me come up in your feed again, please go and check out the class that I'm teaching, working with your spirits and ancestors, working with your ancestors and spirit. It's very basic, building a relationship, integrating with your spirit, claiming your divine rights, It's very basic. We're not doing big ceremonies. You don't have to be a certain religion or a religion. It can apply to any practice that you're doing. I'm going to ask you to go and check out that class, Working with Your Ancestors and Spirit. We start in July. And also, if you like my videos, I am doing live mentorship from July to August. You work on your own pace, but I am doing live mentorship for you. We will work in this exactly this same way from July to August. Okay. Early bird pricing ends on Monday. So if you have questions, DM me. Go look today, DM me. Now we're going to get to questions. Okay.